Seth Rollins loses on Saturday to Cody Rhodes. He becomes the Aaron Glenn of pro wrestling and loses the locker room. But it's true. I mean,
Yes.
I mentioned it with Bully on the show yesterday, Nick. I said, Braun and Bronson have been winning. They've been dominating. Paul Heyman made the ultimate sacrifice. He turned his back on CM Punk and Roman Reigns to align himself with Seth Rollins. If Seth loses and is now 0-4 against Cody Rhodes, they're going to start, Bronson and Braun are going to be like, wait a second. We win. He
Yeah.
loses. And then you look at Paul Heyman and be like, wait a second. I was at the high of highs. And now I'm with a guy that's losing and now is 0-4 against Cody Rhodes. The cracks are going to start showing in the foundation very early on. So, God, I could see a scenario where Seth Rollins wins and he needs to win and his stock rises. And then that puts any doubt that people have in their minds about Seth Rollins. But my goodness, Nick, the storytelling that they could give you if Cody Rhodes beats Seth Rollins for a fourth time.
It really could go so many different ways. And I don't mean the story in general. I mean, if Seth loses one more time, it now sets off a chain of events, just like Heyman said, yet in reality to fans and the people watching the story at home, all of a sudden you go, okay, the first thing that popped in my head watching that promo last night, first of all, I loved it. And it was really well done. I really love when it's not over the top, when it doesn't have to be, when it's just, it seems like a real conversation that I'd be having in the car ride to the next city. Like, man, if I don't win on Monday, what the hell am I doing next? What's the next piece? How do I pitch ideas as a leader of the locker room when I'm losing? Like, that is a reality for the people behind the scenes on the show and in Seth's character. So, like, watching that go down makes me go, oh man, as much as I keep saying he needs to win, I said he needed to win against Punk, and Punk wins almost all the time or all the time with him. And now to be undefeated with Cody Rhodes, it's so much better for the story for Seth to lose. And then you start not just see the creaks and cracks. Then first thing I'm popping in my head is, oh, a year from or 6 months from now, Seth this fight like gets totally destroyed in a like evolution style with Batista, kind of like Braun and Bronson just smashing him repeatedly and putting him down to have him fight from underneath long term to come back and be chasing a dream and chasing the title and trying to almost as the underdog with Paul Heyman and his henchmen. And there really is something special there to where it's not just Paul with Brock or just Paul with Roman. When it is Paul with Seth and Bronson and Braun, no matter where they go, whether they have some cracks and readjust and focus forward or turn into a story to where it's Bronson and Braun, taking over, taking out the boss of the mafia because Paul Heyman's leading them along the way. And when you have that go down, you're now having Paul Heyman help make more than one person at this point. You're not just getting Roman, you're not just getting Brock, you're getting four different people revolving around Paul. And that is something that it just reminds me of when someone's on their way out and they're doing something big to give back, or even the pitch that I had to me, it was like Goldberg and then Miz back-to-back nights. It's not exactly the same because the storyline, I don't have that. I didn't have all the pieces there with everybody behind me, but watching this go down with them, I'm already thinking a year down the line where Seth's coming back from those two putting him out and he's fighting against them and anybody on Paul Heyman's side. But right now, showing the cracks and getting us thinking, that's the best way to do it. I'm leaning towards Seth losing this match just because it's way better for the story.
I totally agree with you, Nick. I'm the same way. I mean, first of all, I'm a Cody fan, but even if I wasn't, just the story they could tell coming out of this match if he loses gets me excited. And the other thing too, it's like really if you look at Seth Rollins, and we've talked a lot about Seth Rollins on this show, and Seth Rollins, and Bully said it, he's a 9, but he's not a 10. Like, and I agree with that. There's just something missing with Seth, whether it's on purpose or on accident. And Seth Rollins is not your typical world champion. I don't think I've ever seen a world champion that obsesses over losses more than Seth Rollins does. Seth obsessed over Roman Reigns. He obsessed over CM Punk. He's obsessing over Cody Rhodes. Usually a world champion, it's like win, move on. Win, move on. But with Seth, that's not the way that it's been for Seth Rollins over the last few years. And I think his entire psyche as a world champion is dependent on whether he's the victor in this match on Saturday or not.
That's a great call. Yeah, whether it's on purpose or not is the best part of the argument that you just made. Are they genuinely unsure? Like when the so many stories that I gave from 5, 6 years ago, like, are we going with this guy or are we not? Can we do this? Do we really make it a big splash here? Do we just get him the win, or do we have him put me down and put down my teammates in a match or something? But it's genuinely seems like storyline wise and reality based wise, they're unsure if this is the guy. Very similar to with the old regime, to where it was almost there, almost there, almost there, but never quite giving that full green light. And a lot of people, it's hard to explain that. They're like, "Are you kidding me? He's been pushed his whole career. He's been pushed his whole life." Yes, he has, but there is a difference between being pushed to the top, and being in that gold circle that only so many get to. And it appears to us who are analyzing and enjoying that they're waiting to see what he's going to do next, to see what direction they go in with him. Will he be the guy that always almost was in control of the entire show and we talked about it and gave him all the options? Or will he be the guy who finally breaks through and says, now I beat Cody and now I never lose again. Now I'm the more powerful than I've ever been. I like that we don't know, and it's very reality based, especially if you're someone in the business who watches that happen daily to all of us.
And listen, when you think of Seth Rollins, he's the world champion. He's on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw is by far right now the biggest show for the WWE. It's on Netflix. It's global. But when you think of the top championship in the WWE, it's not the champion that represents Monday Night Raw. It's the champion that represents SmackDown in Cody Rhodes. Like that, he's the face of the franchise. He's the quarterback. But yet he's on SmackDown. He's not on Monday Night Raw, the biggest show. Like, I'm curious, will the WWE pull the trigger on a Seth Rollins beating Cody Rhodes? Because perception-wise, if Seth Rollins beats Cody Rhodes, well, then isn't he the top dog? Isn't he the number one guy? But doesn't the WWE want Cody to be the number one guy? It's more than just a storyline on the TV show. It's really the perception of what the fans think about those two champions and who's the top guy. Right now, by far, it's Cody Rhodes.
Yes, it really is. And if you look back, as I can often remember, like, because I was in pieces on the other side of Seth, that the Seth part of digging in and giving him the shot and giving him everything in his back pocket to help him along the way started a long time before Cody. And now Cody is the guy, especially like you said on SmackDown, he is the face. But if Seth gets that win, does it genuinely make him the top tier? Does it because he got one win? Or does it not because he lost or got one win and says like he's always fighting to be in that spot? Cody just says, hey, I'm QB1. I'm the guy. I'm the franchise. And it's one of those fake it till you make it. And I was like, yep, all right, we're with you. And Seth is like, I am one step of the way, character-wise on the show and behind the scenes. I'm one special moment away from being the absolute leader of this locker room for real. And will I get it? Do I have what it takes to get it? Or do I just need to say, hey, I'm QB1. I'm the guy who came back. Don't worry. I'm the face of the show now because we've watched him do it. And it's not the same for some reason. So there is something missing there, whether it is intentionally or it is leading us along the way. And we're like, oh, they're just not going to let him have the moment.
You mentioned one step. Somebody that always feels to be one step ahead is Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman pretty sure that Seth Rollins is winning this match on Saturday. I wonder if Paul Heyman has a plan for Saturday. And I'm wondering if that plan involves Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. And if it does, Nick, like, what is Seth Rollins' mental state going to be that, hey, I needed help in order to beat Cody Rhodes? I would have to think, like, for Paul Heyman, hey, I feel great. my guy just beat Cody Rhodes. He won the Crown Jewel Championship. He's the #1 champion in the WWE. But for Seth Rollins, I think that's going to eat at him even more that he couldn't do it on his own and he needed help, which could fracture the foundation for the vision.
How great is that? Being in a team that, as a basically in a non-black and white world, a gray area of heels, being in that team, it fractures the story for them to help him win. Isn't that insane? Like, how cool is that? It's always the, okay, I got these guys watching my back. They're gonna cheat. They're gonna win. We're gonna do a bloodline thing for 2 straight years of the same stuff. And you go, no, no, no. It's hurting us to have them help at the moment, which is kind of cool. Or do we get that moment that we saw briefly of the Seth going to make it and Seth going one-on-one and Paul Heyman putting those arms up and going, hang on, boys, hang on. Either to teach him a lesson and let him fight for himself, or to say that you've lost our confidence and I'm now keeping them back. It's for you to either win or we watch you perish on your own. And there could be another moment of that, or does he release them? And then just all the different pieces you have here, it is so much bigger than a win or a loss. I love it. Even if it's 4-0 Cody or 3-1, how the reactions happen leading to that ending and right immediately afterwards, that is what changes the story going forward. Is it Seth always obsessed with the guys he lost to and never getting it? Or is this the way he breaks through? And how does it affect his team if they had to help him?
And really, if you look at the WWE right now, it is about who has your back. Like, who has Cody's back? It seems like, and we'll get into this, I'm sure, a little bit more as time goes on. Does Randy really have Cody's back? It always feels like whoever aligns himself with Cody at some point turns on Cody because he's the champion. It makes sense.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing here with Bronson Reed, Braun Breaker, and Seth Rollins. Can Seth Rollins really trust Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed? Can Heyman trust Seth Rollins and vice versa? I mean, we saw Seth Rollins on SmackDown. Heyman said, do not go back into that ring. Don't do it. Seth Rollins did it and ate a crossroads from Cody Rhodes. We're seeing it more and more. We saw it last night where Seth kind of got physical a little bit with Paul Heyman, where he grabbed him by the arm. Like, it feels like that's what we're learning in the WWE, that nobody can really trust anybody right now.
DTA, don't trust nobody, baby. Nobody. And by the way, everybody who aligns himself with Cody is always turning on him. But yeah, it's like, what is it with Randy now? Is it like 3.5 years in of like Randy glancing at the title and then just like not happening? So if it even happens out of the blue, it's out of the blue. Or it was like, oh no, this was a 7-year, or no, this was from the legacy days. This was a 17-year story that they finally paid off. Which way do they go with it? But also, I don't know, maybe it's just, maybe you watch him along the way and Randy's got his back, but maybe he doesn't. Like, I don't know what they're going to do, but it can't always be turning on Cody and then losing for the title. But maybe that's the thing. Like, he the only person with a better win-loss than Cody, I believe, is Gunther. And Cody's got those wins in there. So that really, it's let's not say it's not a huge thing to beat Cody, because it absolutely is, with or without help of your henchmen behind you. But the best part of that story is, yeah, that little physicality with Paul and Seth. That's another moment. Like, I can't stress this enough. That's another moment that is not over the top wrestling. I'm like wringing someone's neck like Homer and Bart Simpson. This is just like something you would do with somebody if you're not on the same page and you're kind of physical with them, but it doesn't really hold up in court. But like, what happened, but there's something mentally there. It's a beautiful thing when these stories can be related to and realistic, instead of, man, this is a cool story, and then you get the giant like shovel of cake into your mouth that says, see, there's turmoil between you. Like, no, 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 this is just these subtle, like breathy, whispery little pieces of turmoil that could be helping them or could be hurting them. It's a beautiful thing to watch.